Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be watching The Holdovers. It was released in 2023. It is written by David Hemmingson and directed by Alexander Payne. The film stars Paul Giamatti, Davine Joy Randolph, and Dominic Sessa. Set in 1970, it tells the story of a strict classics teacher at a New England boarding school who was forced to chaperone a handful of students with nowhere to go on the Christmas break. Joining me for this rewatch of The Holdovers are my two co-hosts, Vikash and Martin. I will drop all of their info in the episode description as usual, so please go and give them a follow. Now, I'm going to be watching the Blu-ray copy I have of The Holdovers, but you can currently stream it for free on Prime Video. You can also rent it on there for $4. You can also rent it on Apple for $4 and on Fandango at home for $4. I say we get things kicked off. We are going to be pressing play on The Holdovers, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1.
Is this the Orion logo? Oh no, it's Universal.
Universal 70s
Yeah,
logo.
Universal bought this. Was it at TIFF?
Probably. But they had a great year, to be honest, between that and Oppenheimer, right?
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, they said that I think it was TIFF that it premiered at, but it was the biggest purchase for a movie that had ever been made at the time, at a festival anyway.
So this counts as a Christmas movie. So this I was asking all this the other day. This is the best Christmas movie in the last, honestly, 15 years, right?
Oh, probably, yeah. What did I say the night before? The night before is kind of funny, but I mean, that's not a top of the list Christmas movie.
This is the only Christmas movie that has made me want to go back to watch it around Christmas in a while.
This is a great movie, right? Specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the beginning you can hear the film popping, that sound effect.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I'm sure everybody probably knows this who's listening, but if you don't, shot digitally, emulated to look like it was on film.
More should do that, honestly. Look at the kid to the left. He's one of the Holdovers.
Oh, yeah. What was his name? I just saw it last night, too. I can't remember it.
I forget his name.
Sticks around for 2 days. Is it 6 days?
I think they're there for 3 or 4 days, maybe. Not even. Damn, these small town Americas.
I like these old style opening credits. You don't really see this anymore.
Very 70s. I wish for this movie, obviously they have the credits at the end. If they did the entire credits in the front, and at the end it just ends, to make it very old school.
Where's Vikash at?
I think he's gonna be off and on.
Oh, I gotcha.
For those listening, he'll be off and on, just chiming in randomly.
I think I didn't see him in the chat. I was like, did we lose him already?
I love this song.
I can't remember.
The song is so depressing. The song is so depressing.
We did, but I think it might have been Inception or Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises. But do you remember my laptop died in the middle of one of the episodes?
Oh yeah. We were almost at the end though, I think, so it was fine.
And I was able to hop back in, and I don't think anybody ever noticed. If anybody can find that episode, let us know.
I love this song.
This whole soundtrack is really good. I remember the vinyl was pretty big.
Yeah, I just got the vinyl. It was out of print for a bit, and they made some more. This song's called Silver Joy.
I never realized that you actually see that guy in the beginning.
Oh yeah, he's the first one you see. Yeah, he's the maintenance guy. Yeah. I love this music cut here. Right to in the middle of this to classical. Because now you're in his world of his brain, essentially. But it's great because whenever they go back outside, that song still keeps playing.
Yeah. It was a really interesting way to like introduce the first shot with him, where like you almost see him like as a student, like walking into his office kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he basically can get his entire character right now just through this classical music, and then there's few shots of just his apartment, the Jim Beam right there.
Yeah.
He's an alcoholic. Dude, Paul Giamatti is so fucking good at acting. Jesus Christ.
It's been a while since we'd seen him in anything. I think like
the last time
he was consumed with what's that show? Billions? Like 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Right?
I forgot about that show. Jeez.
What's it called?
And it's like
6
Billions.
I love this character. Like her character leaving the lipstick on her teeth is like perfect. Like, oh my god. Like, that's such a good character choice. I love the music transition here too to essentially a revolution type of music because they're all fucking kids in the late 60s, early 70s. They rebel against that classical type of music.
It has to do with a lot with like it's this Vietnam War.
Yeah, this is the height of Vietnam, yeah.
Because that's so that kind of music was also pretty big at the time.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like Divine Joy Randolph's son is just died in the war.
Yeah.
So did y'all see? Did y'all see Dolomite Is My Name?
I did not.
I have not.
Unfortunately.
So watch it. It is on Netflix, and Divine is actually in that movie. And you know, you have everyone from Eddie Murphy to Wesley Snipes to Keegan Michael Key. So many people like fill out the cast for that movie. It really is an ensemble. But the shining star from that movie is Divine. And I don't know, like, number one, the movie just went underseen. And then number two, she didn't get her credit. And I was so glad that she did for the Holdovers. And it's completely deserved. So definitely check out that movie too. Dolomite Is My Name is hilarious.
She went to my college, Temple University. Same with Coleman Domingo and Quinta Brunson. Quinta was there when I was there, I think. She dropped out.
Great class of people right there.
I read something about her character, how she doesn't smoke, and so you see it later in the movie. She'll smoke, but like she doesn't smoke cigarettes, and she doesn't like the taste of it. So she apparently has found out that like the prop cigarettes, the fake cigarettes, didn't she thought that it didn't do it justice. So she said like I'll smoke real cigarettes on screen, but she said that she wanted to choose the nastiest ones that she could, so it'd be easy for her to quit when it was done filming. And I think, was it American Spirits she said that she chose?
You see how the music cut back to the original song.
Do you guys like any Alexander Payne's other films?
Yeah, I actually like quite a few of his. Election's great.
How do you feel about Sideways? Or no, wait, no, that was not Sideways.
Election
is a good movie as well.
Best. Descendants,
Sideways is good. Descendants is great.
What was I gonna say? What's the one that has Downsizing?
Downsizing. Yeah, I still don't think I've ever. I don't even think I've seen that.
It's a pretty rough movie. But that being said, we were talking about it on Interstellar, but specifically, I was talking about how they used 4 different methods and putting it all together. CGI, the way that they frame and use like camera shots, all sorts of stuff, all to use digital, but make it look like film. And it's like, it's so much work. Just shoot on film. This does look fantastic.
From what I understand, they said that the biggest reason why is that they didn't have a film lab even close to them, and this was just a more convenient
solution
way of doing it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. That's the main.
I love that he's never in that seat the entire movie. Never eats with the faculty. I'm gonna steal that later. Oh, there's a bear there
in the corner. Yeah,
basically just like trying to be like, I'm the dean. Like I'm a powerful person.
It reminded me of a Scent of a Woman. Not necessarily the bear, but just the vibe of the headmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the last time y'all saw A Scent of a Woman, but Chris O'Donnell, Pacino, classic vibes, man. Philip Seymour Hoffman, bro, come on.
I miss Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Did y'all see the trailer? Not that this is relevant, but y'all see the trailer with Christoph Waltz and his son?
Oh, Cooper Hoffman. I've not seen it, no, but I've heard about it. It looks good. Apparently,
it's so B movie, BC action movie, So it's directed by Simon West. So I mean, like, it'll be fun, but it's nothing, that's gonna change the world. Yeah. But it'll be fun to see.
I've been Cooper Hoffman. We've seen Licorice Pizza, Saturday Night. I want to say there's like one or two other movies he's been in, but like the two big movies he's been in have been like pretty big movies that seem like he's taking his career seriously. Not to say that like a B movie isn't taking it seriously, but like it just seems very off.
It's an action movie. It's definitely one thing he needs in his repertoire, but it very much feels like this is my one chance to work with Christoph Waltz. And why wouldn't you? But we can't be ignorant of politics. That boy is too dumb to put this on a boot.
Slowly cuts to close-ups.
He was a legacy and son of one of our biggest.
It's more personal now. They're yelling at each other. Oh, nice. Camera down a little bit.
That pan up is pretty good though.
Yeah. And then he leaves it up. I love that the dean's like suit is like a little big too. Looks like it doesn't fit him.
Well, the whole thing is that like he was a student of Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, which so, you find out it makes sense.
Yeah.
It was until I became headmaster and saw that it's not so simple to keep the damn school afloat. I begged you to give the kid a C-. There are instructors here who will do that. I am not one of them.
And it makes sense why he wouldn't do that, because that's how when he got kicked out of Harvard, like people on the board, like, dude, like, well, my kid's I give money to the school, so you must pass him.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
When you rewatch this movie, it kind of makes sense why everything, I mean, it's one of those movies that like doesn't have like the most like rewarding things in terms of rewatch value. Like, oh, I didn't notice that. It's like the dialogue has little pieces of information. Yeah. It's like, oh, this adds up. Like why he would do this.
Mm-hmm. This kid's such a dick. Like, such a fucking asshole.
Do you know something?
I eat that cup salad.
I love that they like create this like myth around this guy that he's just like just does like the weirdest shit.
I mean, I think like, and this isn't just like exclusive to this kind of like school, but every school that you go to, there's always like people will make up shit about teachers just because they have nothing better to do.
I love these shots of just the kids, because you're never going to see these kids besides the one. Like you have close-ups on all of these kids reacting to their grades. And he got the best grade.
A lot of them don't really seem like surprised though either. Like a lot of them are like, damn, like I knew I was going to do well at this. Like they all kind of hate him. You must know that, right?
Totally got the best grade. B+. Paul Giamatti could be like a professor, honestly.
He's a awesome, like when he tells stories, when you hear him talk about like movies and interviews, he's such a sweetheart, and he really does have like such a sincerity to him. I remember when he was promoting the crap out of this movie. there was a sentiment that he shared regarding his work, like his past work, and he was talking about M. Night Shyamalan's not Shape of Water, but Lady in the Water, and he was like, I mean, he was being so honest. He was like, that is a crazy, crazy movie, and it's such a goofy movie, but like, he really admires it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He admires Shyamalan, and that was cool to see. I don't know. The only movie I think I've ever seen him bash on that was his own work was Amazing Spider-Man 2, and even then, it's like,
oh yeah,
you're in it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And
They wasted him as the Rhino.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like
they
he
did.
was,
That whole movie just felt wasted.
Yeah, because Chris Cooper playing Norman and all that sort of stuff, so wasted.
Teachers have already canceled class. We're chatting in 40 minutes. We're at it. I mean, our heads are elsewhere. Where exactly is your head? I don't know. Some kids.
I mean, it's also very simple. Like Tully gets the best grade. You're already establishing that connection is going to happen. Interesting framing here.
He doesn't tend to draw attention to himself, is I think the point of that.
Yeah.
Like, he does, but he doesn't. He likes to sit in the back, but he also likes to kind of point shit out. He's like,
yeah,
he'll poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah. It's crazy that he was just, Dominic Sessa was just acting like in one of the schools that they were shooting in. They just had their drama classes audition, and that's how they found him.
It's like an open casting call.
Yeah.
And now I think it's him and a couple other young folks. I think the girl that was in Barbie, they're all in Now You See Me 3, which is like,
yeah.
Whatever.
It's kind of crazy that like Mangold started doing his Bob Dylan movie before that. I want to say it was probably in development right before, but I mean, if it was up to me, I'd probably go with Dominic Sessa for Bob Dylan. That's just me though.
Did you see that movie yet?
You know, Vikash, I think we talked about this. What happened with that?
Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, yeah, I remember. Sorry. That PTSD, yeah, I just got the reminder. Okay.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and fill the audience and to know what's so funny about this. I was supposed to attend an early screening of A Complete Unknown. What was this, like a week ago? Almost a week ago on Friday or Saturday?
Yeah. Almost
Friday or Saturday of the last week.
So it was the SCAD screening, right?
It was at SCAD. For anybody who doesn't know, SCAD is kind of a film school. I didn't realize that it was at SCAD until I got there. So immediately I was like, okay, so there's going to be a lot of film students here. That makes sense. As I was standing in line, a number of students just decided to cut in front of me. Some of them didn't even know each other. They were just like, hey, why don't you come up to the front? Why don't you join us up here? And so by the time we got to the front of the line to get into the theater, they were like, hey, just so you guys know, like the theater is full. Like we're not letting anyone in. So waited in line for maybe an hour, had 30, 40 film students cut in front of me. Didn't even get to see the movie. And then I found out that Timothy Chalamet was there doing a Q&A because he was here for like Georgia Tech or something like that.
Yeah. And like I told you, he like here in Savannah, for the the SCAD Savannah Film Festival, literally they scanned tickets and gave us like laminated pieces of like numbers, like this is 88, 89, so no one's cutting in line. So
yeah,
unfortunately, terrible.
It was just not organized very well. Personally, I don't even care if he was there or not. I just wanted to see the movie, but I found out he was there afterwards, and I got cut in front of so many people. Just kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
God, she's so good in this.
I'm telling you, man, this movie, people should be writing essays about this movie, about how, at least for Christmas movies, how do you make a great one? But also just how do you make a compelling drama in 2023? Excuse me, 2024, it's just a compelling movie. It's a fun movie. It's rewatchable, but it's also got all the layers that you would want in any movie,
I think it does a good job of establishing like the fact that so many kids are going home, like how many students there really are here and how many are actually like staying. Because there's like 5 at first, and then it goes down to like 2, and just him eventually.
I do love y'all were talking about, the whole like, these systems, these schools, especially the private schools, they're not meritocracies, and I've seen it even in my own life where my one of my like my second cousin when he was at a private school in high school, like smart dude, but he never did anything, in school, and he was failing, and they're like, and his dad was like, oh, I'm paying this amount of money for him to be at the school, and they just passed him through, and he graduated.
It happens. People who don't deserve it get through because of money. There's exceptions.
I love these.
I don't know if y'all know who shot this movie. I can't say his name. It's like Ingel Brid, but he's another Danish DP. And I always know him because he's the guy who shot In Bruges.
What were you saying you like, Pat?
These slow zoom ins that they do throughout, and like they pull out too a lot. It's very 70s. Very 70s.
They do like, I think it almost feels like you're watching multiple shots at once because it's just kind of it's isolating him, but also
it's like when the conversation's going, it's like he's starting to get more and more frustrated. So you're gonna get to a close up on him at the end.
It is setups within setups, but it's also very much a tension thing, right? Where it's like zooms will always create attention, and everybody who used zooms, everyone from Kubrick to Tarantino, they're using it in a different way, but it's all about tension.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of zooms. Like if you know how to use them, this is a stellar use of zooms. Like
I love that. I love the title, December 17th, Day 1. That's great.
If you notice too, like all the shots introducing the kids that stay, like the holdovers, they're all shots that are like pointing down. They're kind of like looking down at these kids.
It's a demeaning angle.
Yeah, it's a demeaning angle that it shows that he looks down on them, but then Dominic Sessa's character, Angus, he walks in and he's still standing mostly standing for the most part. Like he's kind of leaned back and he's
on
kind
the
of
same level,
more relaxed, but he's the only one who's on the same level as him.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the opening of this movie, Paul Giamatti is basically shot by himself the whole time, just because he's disconnected from all of them. It's supposed to make it look like he's just an asshole, like he's just a prick kind of teacher. That everyone had a teacher like this. Like, oh, he's such a dick. He's such a smart ass. Like,
apparently, it snowed for real. Like none of this is fake snow, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think the snow on the ground, whenever it was like actually like they have it snowing, I think that's VFX, but the snow on the ground is real.
Oh yeah. They said that it was like there was a snowstorm that had just passed by, so I don't know if it's all the scenes, but most of the scenes where you see snow on the ground are like legit snow.
I think what is it? 2013 for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, right?
For Girl with the Dragon, yeah, that was 2013.
So it's been a decade at least since like we know that like snow can look pretty much perfect, VFX wise. Because the snow in that like you can't tell till you watch the what do you call it? The VFX breakdown that's not real snow.
Was Dragon Tattoo 13? I think it was 12. And I think about it.
It was 11.
Oh, it was 11.
It was 11. You're right, because Social Network was 10. Tattoo is 11.
I think it's because in 2013, I think I watched the movie at least 3 times. Like throughout high school, I maybe watched it at least 6-7 times because I really like that movie. And I think it speaks to my sensibilities of like the journalism stuff, and then the mystery stuff, and then the hacker stuff, like everything that I love. And then the revenge stuff with with the Zach Galifianakis looking dude.
Even he shoots the
younger kids,
the older and younger kids separate. Yeah.
It's always the argument that flashy doesn't equal good.
Yeah.
And I recently getting more pissed, more angry about seeing just watching modern stuff and them not realizing that just because you have these tools doesn't mean you need to use them. It's about how you use them, right? And I learned that the hard way. I was telling you all about that short film I made, or it didn't even turn into a film, but the attempt at making a short film in high school and how no amount of technology is going to help you.
The honest good kid, yeah, he was a real asshole. Rick Shackdown, popular combination around here. I'll buy my lunch. My little sister Peggy and her husband invited me to go visit them in Roxbury, but I feel like it's too soon.
There is an alternate ending to this movie that's on the Blu-ray.
I saw it last night.
Is it worth it? Like, is it good?
I think it would have. I think it's. They said it would have been after Paul Giamatti drives away. It cuts to Mary sitting at this desk, and then she sees the two cups because she's about to give him the other cup, for like the whiskey or like whatever she's drinking. So she sees the two cups there, and then she goes into the cafeteria and then sits down at his seat that he never sits in, lights a cigarette, and then the camera pans to the outside, and then that would have been the end of the film.
How do you feel about that? Because I watched it last night and I was like, I kind of like how it ended.
Yeah, I think it would have. I feel like it would have been awkward.
It would have felt like a little bit like forced, if that makes not forced, but like it just kind of feels like I get what you're trying to do here, but I don't know if it completely works.
No, the ending they chose is better. I need to watch. I'm gonna watch it, but I think the one that they have is better. Just I don't know. I wouldn't say it's happier, but like it's better.
Well, I think the reason that the other and the original ending works is, and I'm assuming if you're listening to this with the commentary, you've probably already seen the film, but when you watch the ending, it holds still on that one shot of the car driving away until you can't see the car, and the credits kind of just roll up. So it doesn't really feel like there's necessarily like a definitive ending like it does, but also like you're watching and you think to yourself like, this is where I'll leave, and you don't have to watch all the way to the end, because at the end of the day, like, who knows how long those credits actually last, and who knows if that ends up fading to black. I don't think it does, but it makes me think of like the Goodwill Hunting ending with the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where like once the credits are going, like you're already kind of getting up out of your seat, you're on your way out the theater. You're like, that was a good movie. You've accepted the ending. Like you're like, this is where it ends.
It's like the ending that they have is like the ending where it's like you as a movie viewer, you have that pacing within your head with the wrap up, because it is very much like a wrap up ending. And then the car going away is like, okay, that's a perfect ending. Let's just we're done. We don't need
if they wanted to add 20 minutes after that car scene, they could have. Everybody probably would have walked out. But the credits just roll and there's 20 more minutes of film.
So when Prisoners came out, 2013, oddly enough, I didn't like the ending of the movie, and I was like, why did the movie end so abruptly? And then I sat there and thought about it for like 3 hours. And then I was like, oh, this is actually genius. Because if you actually think about the ending, if anything you're going to see after this is going to suck. Like, it's like, it'll be compelling, but it's not going to be good in the sense for the characters. So it's like recognizing what a good ending is, and, what those feelings are. Even like, the bittersweet endings of like Lost in Translation, romance movies, that sort of thing.
I love this right here. He shot all of them individually, and then it got to the younger kids, and then he slowly just started to push in on them because his kids are gonna cave. Genius. It's so good. Fucking Coons. Sit by yourself down there, you racist piece of shit.
They got the sauce, man. That's what I'm saying. We need more movies like this.
Dude, Mary probably makes fire meals though.
I feel like she'd fuck up some Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, it's probably fire.
Not fire. She probably put a foot in it, bro.
This is like us explaining
talking about film
movies. Yeah, they're like, what? Like, bro, just eat your damn food.
This is the Spider-Man meme right here.
It makes me think of like you know how he like has those books by Marcus Aurelius at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many people actually got the joke, but when Gladiator 2 came out, I was like, oh, this guy would have fucking loved Gladiator.
No, he would have hated Gladiator 2. Look, this is so inaccurate.
Jesus.
They're speaking of Gladiator, I think they're tracking a Gladiator 3 release or a production for 2026.
They already announced it.
You either live long or die early, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's my take on it.
I love that he stops that mid-sentence line and he pulls back. You know, sometimes kids need to hear this conversation.
They do. More kids nowadays need to hear this.
Yeah, this exactly. Like, have them just be ripped into like that. A henhouse ladder, shitty and short. Like, what? That's such good writing.
One thing I love about this movie is that it actually hits the line well when it comes to the themes, where it's like they're like half the characters in this movie, if not more, are kids, and it never feels like it's, you know, it's an R-rated movie, and it feels real. It feels genuine in every sense. And for me to even bring it up to say like, oh, this is something good about this movie. The problem is that a lot of movies just don't do it right. And all the dialogue with the kids, like all the tension between, you know, the different factions that start happening with all the holdovers, it is truly fantastic. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Dead Poets, if anything. Except there's not as much drama.
Avery literally said the exact same thing as we said this last night. She said this is going to remind me of Dead Poets Society. What was the other one with Ethan Hawke? Is it School Ties?
Is that with Brendan Fraser too? I think
it's like the 90s. It not completely the same vibe, but like the same type of like environment, and you see a lot of the same type of imagery.
I know exactly the movie you're talking about. I don't remember the name, but I
want to say it's called School Ties.
Ethan was talking about it when I think when he's talking to the deacons.
I also love like their interactions. Like Mary always has just a warm light on her.
Yeah.
Whenever she's acting with anyone else, like it's all like when she came to the cafeteria, like her hair was all up, not saying anything. But like now he comes to see her again, and you have this like warm light there. She's inviting him in.
What's funny is the lady that he meets at the party, you know, like later in the film, like the dinner party they go to.
You're talking about the woman that we were talking about earlier with the lipstick?
The lipstick.
Oh, yes.
Or it's kind of implied they might, have like a connection.
So that's Carrie Preston. She's the star of Elspeth. And
she's in True Blood too. That's where I recognize her from.
And she and her husband, Michael Emerson, which Pat would know him from Lost. Truly fantastic acting couple. Like both of them, like she plays up the quirky so much in Elspeth, but she is genuinely hilarious.
Makes me think of Carrie Coon and Tracy Letts.
Exactly.
Just like
except
good power couples.
They don't write, but yeah, power couple vibes indeed.
Well, I love this scene too. It's like she's watching the Newlywed Game, and I'm a history professor. Like this makes him uncomfortable watching stuff like this, like opening up a type of human connection like that.
I think she gives him comfort too, though. Like she lets him open up a little bit to an extent, because like
that's when they have their whiskeys when they're talking. Yeah.
I think like he opens up to her, and then that's kind of what makes him like lean into maybe this woman likes me, and then he like just pure disappointment when he sees her husband.
I just love how they're all three of their relationship like just slowly comes together is so good throughout this entire movie.
They're all just kind of going through like a lot of the same things if you really think about it.
I feel like it's a Christmas
they all
trope.
feel alone. They're all alone essentially.
The Dickens vibe, like the
very much
Christmas Carol vibe of like the main character being someone who's just got to stick up his butt and just really needs to have something happen. Like the whole movie is the whole point is that we see the change of him, right, from beginning to end, that he becomes a better person, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not anything, that's like life-changing shift or something, but it's like a compelling shift it's equally as heartwarming as it is intellectual, and that's kind of what you want to have. So the script, whatever whoever wrote this script, actually, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, for those that don't know, there has been claims that this script was stolen from someone.
But then
I don't know how accurate. I don't know how accurate it was.
They went through the whole process, and they said that they didn't find any validity in it. I don't know if that was the final aspect of that.
Think about it. If you could be riffing in a room and just come up with this movie where it's like, oh, let's do Dead Poets, but kind of make the teacher not good, and then mix it with a Christmas type movie.
That's the big reason that and maybe kind of gray area for anybody listening with Hollywood and how it works, but that's the reason that if you see a producer, director, whatever it is on the street, anybody in the industry really, and you give them a script or something along those lines, they're not going to take it. And the reason they're not going to take it is just because kind of stuff like that happens.
They don't want to deal with it.
They don't want to deal with the idea that maybe your script is good and they can't find you, and they make the movie and they get sued. Or, and the real big part of it is just that if they make something similar without even having read your script, at the end of the day, you can easily just say hey, this was in my script, I gave it to them. And that's a lawsuit right there, unfortunately. Yeah. Did you guys remember that video that was all over the internet whenever, what was it, Maxine or Pearl was being released? Or it might have been Infinity Pool, but there was a video of a screening of a movie that Mia Goth was in, and somebody shoots up out of their chair saying to take their script, and everybody was chastising him online for it.
We're stuck. There's some way to get out of here. What?
I will say this older, I guess the quarterback guy, his wig is pretty bad because he had short hair
most of the movie.
Yeah, that's why because he has at the very end when he comes out of the shower or whatever and come back to school and his hair is short, that's was his actual hair.
I was watching the Fall Guy last night. Don't judge me, but
not the Fall
the wig that Gosling has, and that is egregious. His hair looks fantastic. But then they're 18 months later, and you see his hair, and it's what a wig. Yeah. It's just so wig. It's why does a $100 million movie have bad wigs, I mean, besides Fan Forstick.
Fan Forstick had the worst wigs. It's all the reshoots.
This character is so good because every school had a fucking kid like this.
Every school had a
dick.
That's actually
not even a real bully, but just somebody who kind of fucks with everybody.
Yeah, he'll say racist shit. He'll pick on the little kids. He's just a fucking
no. What you said is perfect. That fucking guy. Yeah, that's the
always
whatever. Yeah, that's the emotion you have towards him. It's screw that dude. Essentially, it's just I don't like him one bit.
Yeah. It's funny. He just mentioned that he's a semester, or he's a junior, give or take a semester. But I think in the script they said that he was supposed to be a freshman, and Dominic eventually convinced Alexander Payne to say that he was a junior, and he said give or take a semester because he just thought he looked significantly older than a freshman. But on top of that, if you don't pay attention to that line, you kind of forget. And I forgot that he was a junior until I was watching it last night, and I was oh, I guess he's a junior.
But I think emotionally, compared to the newer kids, it's there's different. Like I said, the factions of the Holdovers themselves. There's an interesting dynamic holding there if you have them at different points through the school, right? So it's definitely a great move to make him a junior. And yeah, he does look old, but it's Hollywood. Everyone looks old. I was watching meet Earl and the dying girl, and like every other extra is in their 20s. Everyone's in their 20s in
Yeah.
that movie.
I mean, Avery's in her 20s and she still gets auditions for high school roles. It's always interesting to see what she gets roles for because I'm always like, how? And I guess it makes sense.
I love this scene here because
plus, I mean, when it comes to the
he-
realistic rate, like you don't want to have a bunch of minors because that's going to restrict how long you can shoot and everything else in between.
Mhm.
And that's not a bad thing. Like all those laws and them having to learn and do school and all that sort of stuff, it's needed.
That's the big reason you see a lot of like twins in like the early 2000s and like late 90s, just because that was their way around being able to like work kids so much. Is if you had two kids, they could play the same role, but then they kind of leaned into it with shows like Zach and Cody. Full House was kind of the big one. There's an easy way to tell who's who. I think they said that like whenever she does the thumbs up, it's whoever has the left and the right. Like one of them is each.
I think this is one of the most important scenes in this movie right here. Because throughout this entire opening, you're like, this Tully guy is kind of a dick too. But when this scene happens, the kid obviously wet his bed and like he's in a nightmare. He acts like the teacher to this kid, being like, it's fine, man. Like we all have nightmares and stuff. Like I'll help you in the morning. Like he actually does show compassion.
He's the only one out of the group that like shows empathy and tries to help him out because the guy with the wig, the football player, he's not like a dick, but he's not.
He's
like,
not a dick. He's just like he's kind of like
kind of
I don't really. He's kind of like
just
I'm not gonna even say anything.
Minds his own business.
Chill. Yeah.
Kuntz is
he's the
bully.
Dick.
Yeah.
Copacetic dick. He's not really like picking on anyone specific. He's just kind of letting shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the vibes aren't good. They're kind of they're kind of what do you call it?
The other kid, the one that's like also his
vibe.
age, is like kind of just minding his own business. He doesn't really seem to like be bothered by all of this.
This is just great.
I'm just glad they got an easy movie, to be honest.
This moment right here, like just to show how rich these kids are, you just slowly hear a helicopter coming. Like his dad's picking him up in a fucking helicopter.
It's the way they hear a helicopter coming and none of it like takes them a minute to react.
Yeah. I'd probably do the same. I'd be like, that's not a helicopter, is it?
But honestly, watching the movie the first time, I'm like, is this really gonna happen? Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. And I'm like, I was on the fence, and then it happens. I'm like, bro, this is awesome.
I like this part right here when you can't see Tully. He's kind of blocked off, so meaning he's not going.
We just passed that shot, but like if you can go back and look at it after I'm done saying this, the shot right here with the bookshelves being reflected on the window, it looks like a prison cell.
Yeah.
Like I love it. It's framed in such a good way.
Yeah. In that shot, Tully's like the blocking, like you can barely see him and his face is all dark. Like he's not going. Like
excursion.
Dude, I feel like it'd be like, I mean, to go skiing, yeah, it'd be sick, but it's like, I mean, I don't know these kids. This is gonna be like still awkward. Like,
I mean,
I definitely would leave to go. Like, I'd probably be like, yeah, I need to get the hell out of here.
They're like, there's such a range of ages. Like, there's those two younger kids, there's the two older guys. Like, at that point, I think they just want to do literally anything else than hang out with their teacher.
Yeah, they're going to like a mansion, probably gonna be skiing. Like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you little bitch.
I do love the tension of it after everyone leaves. That he's like, you understand why he's pissed, but you also see the line of like, bro, calm down. But the best part of it all is that like, the onion is peeling back, slowly, the whole thing going to Boston and all that, like with his dad and man, what
that picture of his family too. That's probably the only picture he has of his dad and his mom together.
Yeah. There it is. The bros are together now. This is the real friendship. He's watching his hopes and dreams fly away.
The whole thing with the with the jump when he gets hurt is still one of the funniest things of like any movie this century or this decade.
Oh yeah, like him like breaking his arm, or he like does something to it. This placement and blocking is interesting too because I mean, by the end of it, they all get very close, but these two together and then him in the back, just kind of minding his own business, but he's hearing everything.
Yeah.
I love the shot he does when they're all three in the frame.
Yeah, but you see him in the back though. Is my point
because he's starting to get more interested in what they're talking about and like watching it slowly. So then he puts them all in the frame. Look at him; he's more relaxed now watching the Newlywed Game. This is his new favorite show. That shot right there.
What spiritual growth are we talking about? You go to church? Only in the choir. Exactly. When's the last time you go to church?
See what happens when you can actually frame things well?
Blocking. I don't think people realize like everyone's been talking about lighting, but blocking has been pretty bad lately.
Blocking is a big thing, man. Like I can tell when there's just bad blocking. Like this blocking sucks.
Like, the third element of it is the shot lengths of this movie. And it matters so much in this movie. And like you said, it's very much 70s vibe. But in my opinion, okay, besides, some of the zooms and that sort of stuff, like this is your definition of a timeless movie when it comes visually.
Yeah. Like it's not concerned too much with what it's trying to do visual wise. Like it has this very distinct look, but it's also like if it was shot digitally, I mean it was, but if it didn't have any of this like film look emulation that they put on it, I think it would still look and feel as good as it does just based on the writing alone. But the film look does kind of add to it.
And now we finally see, he just gets tanked throughout the day, and then he just goes to bed. He just goes right back to bed.
Hammered.
Nice shot before bed. I'm already friggin' toast anyway.
It's me on a slow Tuesday. It's me watching this last night, to be honest.
Crawling into bed like that. And we already had this scene earlier when Hana went to check on the students, and then he wandered around the school.
One thing to also kind of point out as well is that whole thing where they talk about like how to know that you've created like an iconic character is when you can look at their silhouette and know who it is without
who it is.
Yeah. So with this specific thing, I wouldn't say it's a silhouette, but the jacket, the little design that he has on the, like his, on the, like, there's like two, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It has like such a distinct style to it. That's like so specific to that era. In the back of it as well as one giant one, like just arrow pointing down. But it's such a distinct style to his like era. It's recognizable that even when he starts to like kind of poke his head in through the shadows, you see who it is.
And this song is like perfect for all three of these characters. The song is titled Crying, Laughing, Loving, Lying. That's the title of the song.
I don't think y'all realize how much I depend on movies like this to like tell me about music. Like, like I'll watch a movie and be like, oh, this is good music. Then I've heard the song. Then I listen to that song.
Yeah. I just got the vinyl like a couple of days ago. So I'll go smoke some weed in the church. Play the piano. They're bros now.
That was me watching Jackass with that one guy at like 2 in the afternoon. With him wearing a suit.
Yep.
That was honestly one of the funniest experiences I've ever had because, mind you, it's like the week after it releases. It's my only day off. It's 2 in the afternoon. I was like, I think I'm going to go watch Jackass. One other guy walks in wearing slacks and a tee. and a tie with a nice button-up shirt, and he was like laughing a lot harder than I was. I was like, dude, you're a professional. You're a civilian.
So when y'all saw Interstellar, were people laughing?
I mean, there were people laughing as much as they
laughing.
could during the scenes that they could have, but like any other scenes, like I think they were laughing a lot at the scenes with Topher Grace because he.
That 70s show effect, I know.
Yeah, his character is kind of funny in that movie. He's kind of just like whining the whole time.
Did you notice that little placard that's right next to the phone booth that says how to make a call?
Yeah.
And then also apparently they had to like basically show Dominic how to
use a payphone
because he never used one.
Phone.
Yeah, he's so young he's never had to use one of those.
Yeah.
Like they were doing the take,
I don't think I have
either. My grandfather had a phone like that.
I've had to use one before when I was a kid, and
I had to use it as a kid. Yeah.
They said that like they started doing a take and he would pick up the phone without doing anything, and they were like, "What's going on? Like, does he not know how to do this?" And they were like, "He's too young. Like, I guess it makes sense he doesn't." Like it never occurred to them that he'd never used one. I love when he's running. There's one shot where he looks directly at the camera like he's in Home Alone. Like right here. It's like the next shot, but you'll see what I'm talking about. I love his run fast. Like if you miss it, right here when he's running up the stairs.
Oh yeah, that's great.
He looks directly at the camera.
That's great.
It's like it's such a subtle thing you never notice it.
This is the third time I watched this week, and I didn't even. That's the first time I noticed that.
And also the way that he runs. The movie is shot in a specific way where like it has such a 70s feel to it, where he's running, and it's like you're thinking to yourself, wouldn't you just keep running? But he stops at doorways for him to show up, and he looks behind him, and then he keeps running.
It's like he's like testing him to see how far he's gonna go to like try and catch him.
Yeah.
Or if he'll just give up and be like, "Fuck you."
Again, he kind of looks not directly at the camera, but he may as well be.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny. I thought it was hilarious when I was watching it.
When I first saw this, I thought he was like faking.
No,
like, I did too. Because I thought to myself, like, how would you hurt yourself?
Have you ever been in this situation? Yeah. I've been in this situation.
Dislocated shoulder.
Okay, that happened once. That was terrible. But I've also been in a situation where I caused someone to have a very bad injury, and like we're going to the hospital, and I'm like, "Is this real? Are you really like?"
Yeah.
But I was like 10, and I was gaslighting my brother at that point. I
love that line. Of course you meant it metaphorically. But what'd you actually do? Wash your hands.
I love the like texture of all the settings that they're in. Like the infirmary that they're staying at has like that cold like marble.
Oh yeah, it's a weird
to it.
It's a weird like
the movie is so
cold. It's cold. The whole movie like looks cold, but you feel like warm watching it.
Yeah, it's like you've been there before. You've been somewhere that has this type of
feeling. Yeah,
it's the blue. There's like that specific bluish green, almost. I wouldn't call it turquoise,
it's like
but you know the blue I'm talking about.
It's like a mint. It's that mint that's on the wall right there. I get what you're saying.
Mm. This is great right here. This is like the first moment you like he sees him as like, oh, this kid's like smart on his feet.
Yeah.
Like damn good actor too. Like when he's like, when he looks at him, he says like, I don't want you to go through that again. Like I don't want you to be dragged into court again. Like I'd be like, damn, like
this is shenanigans.
Good, right here, man. You should be an actor, is what I would say.
You should be a fucking actor, kid.
Yeah, that's fucking.
This kid can fucking act.
Yeah,
dude. Okay, so he's got 3 projects lined up already. 2025, he's got Now You See Me 3. Which crazy that it's happening. I don't know why. He's got a movie with Rose Byrne.
How old is he?
He was born in 2002, so he's got to be like 22 right now. Yeah, he's 22 right now.
Because I think he was only like 18 when they actually filmed this. Because I think they filmed this in 2021. Lie. But I love that. Like he's barmen don't lie, but then throughout the movie, like Paul Giamatti just slowly starts to lie. Because sometimes, and then at the very end, he lies to say like, "No, I am the one that brought him there." Because sometimes there's such thing as a good lie to protect somebody.
I think that's the whole point of. I mean, I don't know. Like morally, lying is good. I don't know what else to say. Like,
yeah.
There's plenty of ways to
you're protecting something. Yeah, obviously lying about like doing something bad, but like protecting him to keep him there, like that's
the classic the classic moral one that we whatever talk about is like, you're sitting in a forest. This is like 2,000-year-old reference, but it's like you're sitting in a forest and you see a wedding go by, and then 10 minutes later a bunch of robbers show up on a horse and be like, hey, where did they go? It's like, you're gonna tell them the wrong way, right? It's just the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. The champagne beer. I say that every time there's Miller High Life. Do you want a Miller High Life? They're like, well, no. I'm like, why not? It's the champagne of beer.
Champagne of beer. So, growing up, I grew up around a lot of alcohol, but like the Miller High Life was always hilarious because I had a brother-in-law who drank it, and I'm like, is that ginger ale? He's like, no, it's Miller High Life. It's the champagne of beer, and I was just like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to see the way that this is framed as well. Like all the shots with Dominic where he's looking up at her, they're all angled like level, but all the shots where Paul Giamatti's looking at her,
it's Paul Giamatti's like
he's angled down, so like he's looking up, like he finds her intimidating.
He feels her intimidating because
he kind
of likes her. Yeah. Because he likes her.
Cinema,
he likes her.
Dude. Love this.
It's very simple. Like this is people listening to this is very simple filmmaking, but a lot of people just don't do this anymore.
See,
like,
no, but
it's very simple.
thing is, it's simple, but it's compelling. It's the way that it's not even okay. Clint Eastwood makes
subtle, but it like
works
more simple.
And then right here, you bring the camera back down to now they're both on the same level, talking.
This
and
is
you're
competent.
Shooting them close up because now they're having more of a connection. Like they're opening up more.
Exactly. And like this is competent filmmaking where you don't have to blow the socks off to be great in every sense of the word, right?
It's confident, but Alexander Payne's also been doing this for like 20 plus years.
Yeah, so he knows.
So
but that's what I'm saying. Like
one of the masters.
There's people that have been working in this industry for 20 plus years who still don't know how to do it, bro.
That's fair. That's fair.
Should give him like 5 shots of million.
It's like I'm gonna turn on a McG movie and be like, oh.
McG. You mean the director of We Are Marshall?
I mean the director of Terminator Salvation, Mr. Paycheck.
Oh, McG. What's his name? McG?
McG.
Yeah.
I had to think about his name. I was like, what is his name, dude?
But I live right there.
The shot where it's looking directly at him.
He took a sip of the Jim Beam, and now they were kind of like the camera was on the same level. Like he's a little more confident because he's got the alcohol on him. They do such a good job of setting this up. Of like, is there something here? And then like when he's on the couch and he turns around and sees her start like kissing her boyfriend, and it just cuts back to him, and you're just like, just
disappointed too.
Gut punch.
But that shot, man. That shot of him,
the
reaction shot is fantastic.
Just a gut punch. Like God, like how many times have you been in that scenario? Like fuck, like God damn it.
A couple times. I don't, bro. Just stop bringing the PTSD back.
You brought that up. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't say anything. That was all you.
I'm projecting. No. I'm projecting. Let me turn on some Drake. I'm in Marvin's room. If you want to know Marvin's
room. Here's your Vietnam still.
Cups at a rose. Bitches in my old phone. I should call one and go home.
We can't get flagged, guys, with these lyrics.
I don't say anything.
I've been in the club too long.
Oh, jeez. Here's your effects of Vietnam. And Vietnam's like kind of all over this movie. Like even that line, "Spoiled little Barton boy." Like you wouldn't have to go to Vietnam because you're a little Barton boy. You're a rich kid. Again, for people that don't know, "Fortunate Son" is not a patriotic song at all. It is because
not on the slightest
during the Vietnam War.
I'd argue otherwise, that it is a patriotic song because it is
a patriotic
about
song. Is when like Republicans or like people like that play
misused.
Play it at play it at like, or Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA." Like,
yeah,
like,
I mean,
y'all ain't listening to the song. There's
here's
a
my
cognitive
thing, though, Pat, is that like it's not a patriotic song, but to them, that's what they see as patriotism. Like, do you hear how vets talk about like their service? They'll say like, "Oh, I fought for this country, and I had my friends die for this country."
Y'all watch The Five Bloods, right?
Yeah.
With,
I'm not.
From Spike Lee. Bro, watch The Five Bloods because Delroy Lindo's character is like, he's one of those guys. And the way that
I'll say this, Vikash, like I love watching movies, but when a movie exists only on a streaming service, I completely forget that it exists. I know I've said that like 1,000 times, but I just forget.
I'm the same as well.
My problem is that the two movies, Dolomite and The Five Bloods, are on. They're both on Netflix, and they surpass that streaming service. Period. You know.
No, I totally understand that, but here's the thing, though.
You're 1,000% right. I'm the same way.
Even if that movie didn't have a physical release, if it even got a theatrical release, I would remember that it existed, and I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta watch that movie because it was out in theaters."
I love the line
100%.
when they came out when he was like, "Because Barton boys don't go to Vietnam," and then he just goes, "But Curtis Lamb did." He goes, "Exactly, but Curtis Lamb did." Now, why is that? We know the answer, but it's because he's not a rich white kid. He's not a fortunate son. Yeah, for those that don't know, Born in the USA is about a Vietnam War vet coming home, and he's not getting any benefits, but he's like, "But I fought for this war, and I was born in the USA."
I feel strongly about it.
Tempo.
I know, and I've known men from that era. I know multiple men who went to Vietnam who were drafted, and like I feel for them so much. You know, like just growing up with them, knowing them, you know, that they got screwed so bad.
You know, even there, he's not afraid of women. He looked away.
Yeah,
like
even there,
he's like, confront it.
You smell like fish, and like that's when you bring the camera down into there again, talking on the same level.
Yeah, but whenever he told him that he smells, he wasn't in the car yet. Like he was still standing outside, and then whenever he got in the car, he's like fish.
Yeah, like fish. My favorite payoff in this entire movie is when, I guess we can talk about it when we get there. But it's when they go to like the bowling thing, and he's like, "What eye should I look at?" And he doesn't tell him, and then the payoff at the end, and he just says, "It's this one. This is the one you should look at." Like that was my favorite. I started like almost clapping in the theater. I was like, "That was genius."
It's a good payoff. It makes me think of, you know what, one of my favorite payoffs is in and we talked about this for the Cameron episode. For those of you who don't know, we're doing Cameron for the next director series, but Titanic has an incredible payoff with the knife first off in the beginning, and then her spitting, like learning how to spit. The guy that wins the knife in the card game, and he uses it towards the end, and then on top of that, Kate Winslet spitting on Billy Zane's face. Cal, it's his name. I couldn't remember his name. I remember Billy Zane, which also, I don't know if you guys know about it. I'm sure you already do, but that Brando biopic with him in it, like,
yeah, I saw the trailer.
I can't wait to see that.
Here you go. Here's your scene of him trying to connect with the young folk. Can you both throw a football?
I can.
If that was the first take and that's what Paul Giamatti did, I would have freaking lost it.
I'd have been like we're keeping that. Like the fact that you can't throw a football is just funny.
Well, I'd just be like, that's all we needed. I needed one take of that, and that was fucking hilarious. I was watching the behind the scenes, and like they had this scene of it's when they come back and like the Coons kid has his like face all like sunburnt from the snow.
Yeah.
And then like they're Alexander Payne's like behind the camera like while they're doing it, and then Paul Giamatti does like the little "Did you fly?" Like he makes his arms like this, fly a little too close to the sun there, like Icarus, and Alexander Payne just starts cracking up like behind us, like because he just improv a little fly too close to the sun.
Honestly, I think this is just a perfect thing of like Giamatti's always been hilarious, and this is a career-defining movie on a career that was already.
Yeah, I think this might be his best performance, honestly. And I know for a little bit, like he was somewhat in the conversation, and obviously then Killian was obviously going to win. But
I don't think that it was for a minute. He was in the conversation for like the entire race. I just don't think everybody was like, he's not going to win it. It's just
I think he probably would have gotten my take on it. He probably would have gotten second in voting, I think. What's your take?
8 times out of 10, I'm picking Paul.
If this movie came out this year, I bet you he wins Best Actor.
Well, I don't even know who the
honestly
lead is right now for Best Actor. Honestly,
it's such a tight race. It might be Timmy.
That's the thing, though, is I haven't seen it, so like I could have.
Yeah, I
know. With him there.
My thing is that when it comes to the biopics, gauging those performances comparatively is such a weird thing to do. Like, I don't like it.
And when you have such different performances like this one and the same one from like Oppenheimer, if you think about it, they're kind of playing very similar performances, mostly with Oppenheimer in the specifics of like the courtroom stuff, because in there he's like not very confident. He's trying to defend himself and like sort of play into that, whereas the rest of the movie he's a very confident man. He's trying to build the bomb, but everything else, it's like they're very similar performances.
I love that he actually,
but I think the edge for me is always the comedy. It's harder to be funny.
It shows that he listened to Tully when he like freshened up because he smelled like fish. He's like, I'm actually gonna freshen up a little bit. So he's listening to him.
Yeah.
Classic line. Oh, those will be putting my bedside table.
But in the comparison of Holdovers and Oppenheimer, one thing is fact that 2023, those are two movies where, 50, 100 years later, they're still going to be watching them. And it's very rare that you have a movie like that. And those end up being my favorites.
He's going to steal that. Sound drowns out. Maybe him and his dad had collected snow globes. I don't know.
They definitely built a great ecosystem with, like you said, with all these locations. And when it comes to those little details, you don't have to explain everything, but as long as you're hitting them emotionally.
This acting detail right here, when she like looks back at him like twice, and then they just make eye contact. I think she does it again right here, like while they're right. Perfect. Clearly, there's already sexual tension there. She's looked at him like 4 times.
It's a relatable tension too, right? I would hope.
Yeah, it's like you just.
The thing that they talk about, like when you're single at an airport and you see like one person that like you find mildly attractive, you run through this
and you both make eye contact. Yeah, you both.
It makes you think of like the one young person who's there on a night like Christmas Eve.
Yeah, with the one person that's your age. Also there.
It's like even close to your age that you kind of vibe with.
And it happens to be a girl.
And what I do now is every time that happens now, I smile. I'm just like, let the vibes roll. Like, this is life as it is,
Picasso's cool.
Picasso's cool.
And he has this little line about his dad.
Yeah.
Slowly dripping it in, man.
Here's your little push in. Slow zoom. I mean, Mary's like an alcoholic too.
If you kind of like pay attention to it, everybody's got like in their hands, like they all like very like light alcohols, like wines or beers. And
It's like
she's
a
the only one drinking
Bud
like
Light, yeah.
she's
Heavy
the only
whiskey,
one with like a heavy
yeah.
whiskey. Yeah.
I love this little like he goes to hug her. I love that like he goes to hug her and she kind of just like leans away and is like, I'm fine. Like she doesn't ever like want help. This guy's like so nice too. Like the nicest person.
But that's also like it's a detail of her loneliness, right?
It's her loneliness of
She doesn't feel like she deserves it.
Yeah, people being nice to her.
Like,
it reminds her reminds her obviously of her son and like she.
But it's like a
saying,
pity.
I don't need help.
She doesn't want their pity.
Yeah.
But it's like all three of the main characters, they all have different ages and different different loneliness vibes, you know?
But they're
like
all
hers is one
all lonely.
But they're all lonely, and then they become lonely together, right? And there's a beauty.
They become their own little family. Yeah, they have like a little family for 2 weeks.
That whole like summer camp sort of vibe is one that I think we should all have in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it also makes for great movies. Like obviously the classic one for me is Lost in Translation.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like that's the magic of a movie. How do you warrant a movie before before sunrise? That whole Linklater trilogy, the Before trilogy.
I love that right there because he said, "Are you trying to look down my shirt?" And he said, "No," and he went, "Yeah," because he didn't lie. But then he just broke the 180-degree rule. Just camera went to the other side immediately.
And then it also
now she's
like more close to her, like it's a bit more intimate.
Because now she's gonna kiss him. So it's kind of like she liked his honesty there. Like, yeah, I was trying to look down your shirt. And it just cuts to her.
I love those. I love when they break the 180 rule, but they make it earnest. Like they make it.
You have to feel intentional.
And I love that kiss, and it cuts to her kissing him on the cheek,
and then like rubbing his cheek. Yeah,
because this is when he thinks like, oh, maybe I should be like, maybe she is interested in me.
Oh no,
this makes me think of like it's a classic trope in movies, but like when someone clearly gets nervous, they kind of like revert to like something that they know,
like history.
Like his is history. Other like for me, it would probably be movies. Unfortunately, like I should be like, this guy in Lord of the Rings.
Unfortunately, excuse me, sir, it is a good thing. Or
you just say movie quotes all the time, and they're like, "What?" And you're like, "Okay,
what the fuck?" Yeah.
I did not hear.
Vikash, back to your point about Sofia Coppola and Lost in Translation. At that Q&A, someone asked him for Francis Ford Coppola. I should probably explain this. I went to a Q&A for Megalopolis, and he answered questions for 2 hours straight. But someone asked him what his favorite movie of Sophia's was, and he said Somewhere.
Interesting.
Somewhere?
Yeah, the Steven Dorff movie. I think Elle Fanning
Somewhere
as well.
It's such a but it's an underrated. It's so underrated from her, or underseen at least.
Y'all think Lost in Translation will ever get a Criterion?
Will it ever get a 4K?
I think a Criterion maybe.
It could get a Criterion 4K.
I'd like it too. I mean, Virgin Suicides is in there.
Yeah, she has one in there.
Right here, there's such a sincere moment between them.
We're gonna get what do you call it? We're gonna get what's that movie? We're gonna get On the Rocks before we get a Lost in Translation 4K.
I don't think so. I mean, that movie has barely anybody knows it exists.
No, but I'm saying On the Rocks is already in 4K streaming, right? Like, I hate the fact that we don't have a 4K of Lost in Translation, one of the best American romance movies.
Yeah, but the reason we have On the Rocks on 4K is because they shot it in 4K. It's a newer movie. Yeah. Like the streaming version is definitely going to get a 4K, but the physical version is what I mean. Home release for Lost in Translation will probably go to 4K eventually.
Mary is tanked.
I'm waiting. I've been waiting. So
I love this push in, and then she just goes, "Go get me another drink." Oh my god. Oh, perfect.
I'm hearing something about a French Connection 4K going to Criterion.
Interesting. They don't have any Friedkin, do they?
If one deserves to be in there, personally, I think it should be Exorcist.
Yeah.
Sorcerer as well.
Yeah, Exorcist is
yeah.
a must too.
Exorcist
they have Wages of Fear because I had to get Wages of Fear. I'm excited to watch that.
You notice that she said us, and then he immediately feels like she's
it's
talking
like
about
that.
them.
Yeah, and she says, "You're a kind woman" in the screen. And she like tells she's the one that gives him the idea to like do something for Angus. Here, this year.
No, I can't watch. I can't watch. It hurts too fucking much.
Pushing camera up and then come right back down.
Son of a
my
bitch.
That look of just utter like heartbreak, disappointment, this slow blink, like
we've been there.
We've all been there.
Everybody.
I hope we haven't,
but
everybody's been there at some point in their life.
Mine was a little bit worse than this, honestly.
This movie's putting it lightly. I think we've all had a moment like that.
Yeah. Growing up at some point.
Her shoes are off. Such a good detail.
I think in retrospect though, all these moments that we do have, I don't know about y'all, but it's like they feel like we were blowing them out of proportion when they actually, like, in retrospection, like, it didn't mean as much as it.
Yeah. When you look back at shit in your life that you've gone through, you're like, maybe it wasn't that deep.
Mm-hmm. Well, even right there, like he when he closed the door, like to protect obviously Mary, the entire sound just went silent just to them.
Something subtle.
We'll come back. This would literally be me too. I'm like, what do you mean? We're gonna come back, right? The girl liked me. Like, I need to get.
You don't get it. We're hitting it off.
Yeah, we're hitting it off.
Do you think I want to be babysitting you? Oh no, I was praying.
Here comes another lie.
That your mother would pick up the phone, or your father would arrive in a helicopter or a submarine or a flying fucking saucer to take you dead. Oh, I thought your father.
Damn.
My mom. Your keys. It's unlocked. You don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas.
Yeah, so that's when like he realizes like I went a little too far there. And then he's like, all right, now I'm gonna take her advice and go get him a tree in the morning. Got the Jim Beam right on the right on his nightstand.
This guy doesn't fucking quit. It's a rager. Still reading this little book to go to bed.
Putting the two beds together, classic. Make like a queen size bed.
Good for him. I love that little detail. He has to get into the
the other side. Yeah. We can't really play. Fire sale on all trees. Nice. Even these like pans, like people just don't do this stuff anymore.
Dude, that'll just cut to a different shot.
Yeah.
This Dutch angle.
Yeah, Dutch angle, yeah. I love that. Good morning. Merry Christmas. Like,
I think the Dutch angle is kind of meant to show that she's like fucking hungover.
Yeah, I love this. I love this zoom out. That's so good. I'm gonna use that from now on. If you're ever hungover, I got the cocktail flu. He actually cares too. He goes like, "Merry Christmas." He's like, "Where have you been?" He's been looking for him. I did something nice for you, kid. That's crooked. He's so happy. His smile.
The little bottle just sitting back.
He just gives them both the same book. I love like the little, and then the bit at the end when he's packing up, he has like 100 of those books.
That book is still sold, but the cover looks different. I found it at Barnes and Noble one time.
Dan, they probably like looked up what the cover looked like in the 70s and had them made like that.
Her face drops when she opens it. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, you get this for everybody. Yeah, just so you just give this to everybody and this. And
she's like,
yeah. And how'd you guess? Here you go. They don't even write anything. Season's greetings. Here's $100.
Mom and Stanley.
Love, Mom and Stanley. Greetings and best wishes. What's your mom? Oh, look, he's being formal. I like that, like little, because he was like being like formal while he was eating, and she gave him a little like smirk.
I like that she's already kind of going through her bottle. It's kind of a good touch.
Oh yeah, because he probably had some too. Look, he's becoming nicer. He's becoming more polite, saying thank you.
I think this is kind of where he starts to notice that like Angus isn't as bad as he probably thinks he is.
Yeah,
he just thinks of all these kids as like privileged, rich, degenerate kids that are just, you know, daddy's money type shit.
It's like Angus, like obviously does come from money, but
he's the exception of like
he essentially is like him. He's just a loner guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Angus doesn't act like he comes from money. I think that's like the difference.
I want a real Christmas. When I go ice skating, I want to see a real Christmas tree with real ornaments, not that stupid thing. You said it was nice.
He said it was nice.
A real holiday. We're not going to Boston. It's out of the question. You told the boy everything to take the kid to Boston.
What I think is sweet too is that like she's really like, I mean, you did say fucking anything, man. Like,
yeah, it's like Boston isn't out of the question. Like, I'm not gonna say anything. You can write it down as a field trip. Like, nice. See, even he's becoming more like nicer. Like him a week ago, I'd be like, absolutely not. Go study. I'm gonna go read this book over here.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this movie is shenanigans, man. I love it.
Motherfucker back.
Like, I think it very much is that point where, like, when he does the jump and breaks his arm or whatever, like, that is where, like, the movie, like, the pace just, like, it ramps up and then it's just nonstop. Like, you're so invested in the movie. Like, that's where it starts.
I love it before she's like, oh, you're also taking me to Roxborough. He's just like, okay. Just, it's fine. I assume you're coming to. Look at them all. They're all vibing. This is the point where like I'm in the theater and be like, this is some good shit. Like watching this movie.
I was locked in from the beginning. This is one of those movies that like I when the minute it started, I was like, actually, if you want to know the truth, the minute that shit came up with the like the old like MPAA logo, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking heater.
And you hear the pop of like the film.
Yeah. I was like,
I mean, the movie had me from the beginning, but like I'm saying, like just as a like the story itself, where obviously, so put it this way, this is one of the maybe 2 movies or 3 movies of 2023 where I'm like, I can do a podcast, like a Cinema Pursuit episode on this right away. Like it was very much like we were supposed to make an episode for the Holdovers this year, and just we didn't have time. Like we genuinely loved that much. And it warrants it. You know, it's one of the rare ones that does, and I hope people always watch this one. This is definitely one that like goes into the annual rewatch cycle.
Rotation, yeah.
I think the problem with a lot of Christmas movies that are made now is just that the plot is too much about Christmas, whereas every good Christmas movie I've seen, Christmas is the backdrop. It's not like the plot. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah, exactly. It's setting, but it like the plot points have some sort of dictation within that.
Yeah.
But it's not overpowering.
Like, I think Elf might be the exception, but even then, like you don't really notice that it's about Christmas until like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honest, okay. Y'all might not like this take, but it's kind of the worst part of the movie. It's good.
It is.
But, like,
it is. No, you're right.
It's not the like most compelling part of the movie. Like the whole thing with like James Caan and him, like the whole like Billy G.
You're not my dad.
Ain't my son vibe.
Yeah. I'm not your. You're not my son.
Get out of my life.
It makes me think of those movies where like they're trying to get rid of the dog. Get out of here, you dumb dog.
Yeah.
Almost feel worse for the dog.
Like Air Bud. Go away. I don't
Get out
want
of here, you dumb dog.
Look at her. She's letting a piece of Curtis go though. This is his baby stuff. So she's somewhat.
She's like repurposing it. She's able to see it grow with her.
She's able to like move on in some ways slowly. Giving it to her sister.
The way that she's like framed towards the light too feels very intentional because they easily could have put that like dresser on the other side of the room.
Oh yeah.
The fact that the light is like shining down on her almost to show like maybe in a corny like specific way. I don't want it to sound corny, but like Curtis is looking down on her.
Mm-hmm. And now, like, it's a little more warmer in here.
It's, or put it this way, it's corny, but it's like emotionally it works. Like, so it's like, well, that's the main thing. I think if something's corny, if it works emotionally, then it's good. But if it's corny,
it's sincere and it doesn't land, but you feel it though.
Well, even like there, like when they're talking, it's like you don't need to hear what they're saying. You just watch them.
The husband walking by and just like
just like looking in, being
man, like, they're still in there just laughing. Like, it just adds to it.
Dinner's getting cold. We're still chatting.
It's beautiful.
Have you guys seen how they like put all this stuff away whenever they're closed during the nighttime? This like little bookstore. Those you can kind of see.
Yeah.
But those ones that are on the wall there, they have like a gate that closes, and then they just roll all this stuff into that little. I think they said it's like a little garage. You can kind of see it in the back, but that's where they roll all of those like little things into.
Yeah.
I think one of our mutuals on Twitter, they had gone to Boston, or they live in Boston.
They just went there,
yeah.
Yeah, they went there and they were like showing a photo of it at like night or something.
Oh yeah, I saw a picture of it like recently.
Yeah. No, like
it's probably become like a big spot now for touristy.
I'm sure. People. Film people, they're just like, I gotta go see it.
I gotta go see the Holdovers bookstore. They should just call it the Holdovers.
I don't know about y'all, but that's me with every when I went to DC, I'm like, oh, this is in this movie. Oh, this is the tree where Captain America is sitting and talking to Bucky in Captain America Civil War. Or,
if I ever go to
Winter
DC,
Soldier.
the only spot I ever want to go see is the Exorcist steps.
Ooh, I
that'd be sick.
the whatever the Captain America one, but like, I mean, there's so many not iconic, but like, there's so many movies shot in DC to like, or like they show the White House or the Capitol building, all that sort of stuff. It's become very tropey.
I love that, like, also, like, because obviously that lady was like a prostitute and was asking for sex.
Obviously.
Yeah, and then it cuts to this scene, and he shows them that like sex has been a part of culture. Like, look at this pottery. This guy's like doing this girl doggy style, like in this pot. It's like, yeah, he says like every generation thinks that they invented something when it has always been around. He looks at the camera there too. And he says it's candy.
That's the sauce of this movie, man.
Yeah.
Is that the movie? It dives like when it gets to the second half, it dives into the elements of like
human love. Very much
it's a real like what do you call it? Like teacher-student relationship.
Yeah,
fosters a good one. And like we were talking about it for Remember the Titans, School Rock, like good actors need to play teachers because there's something there. Like, especially when it's a good script, there's just something in the water where, like, it's gonna be fantastic. Robin Williams did it twice, technically.
Because he's basically telling him here, like, yes, like you can have sex, but like when you have sex with someone that you like actually like, it's a lot better.
It's different.
Teaching him a lesson. Yeah.
That would have fired him today.
Oh, 100%. Here we go. Here's some Cat Stevens. You got to have some Cat Stevens in here.
I read something about how like apparently Dominic Sessa played hockey, and so apparently there's like a shot here where he like falls, and he said that was the hardest part to do on camera and to make it look realistic because he's such a good ice skater.
I think he said like it wouldn't make sense for him to be like a good ice skater like Tully, so they gave him like really shitty and like really big. Like they didn't fit him the
to like make him like kind of like
so he would stumble. Yeah, he was like stumbling. He's like, it wouldn't make sense for me to actually be like really good like skating around, like because my character. I mean, he does have like a Boston Bruins. He has like a Boston Bruins banner in his like dorm room, but like it wouldn't make sense. Like, why would he be so good at hockey? Like,
and funny enough too, whenever he falls, he like they don't really show like him falling, they show him disappear, and then it just shows him sliding. Like the camera's way too zoomed in on him.
Shoot him up a little bit. Don't get his legs.
Don't see him trip and fall in such a fake way.
Here comes another good lie.
And again, this is framed exactly the way that like all the other shots have been where they're intimidating. It's there. He's above on the steps,
3 steps above. Yeah. I love that they both have like that hat on too. But his is like black because he has power.
Yeah.
Like it looks expensive. He's wearing all black. He looks like he's looks expensive.
Paul's wearing multiple layers.
I love also like when he shoots the other couple, there's no other people around behind them. And then it cuts back to them. There's so many other people because it's like they're part of this class. They're not part of that class. See, there's nobody behind them. And then he cuts right down. All those people back there. They just blend in with the crowd. Which book, Uncle Paul?
What book?
Camera, ancient camera. Dude, they should do an improv class together. They're pretty good.
You guys should act. You guys should be actors.
Yeah. Have you guys thought about acting?
Light and magic.
Light and magic.
This guy started ILM.
Well, Paul, I'm just so glad you landed on your feet.
Such a condescending.
I know.
Line.
And then like he has it framed when he touches his shoulder, you just see his hand come in. Like there. Good for you. I love that. What the fuck just happened?
The guy behind this counter at this liquor store owns the liquor store, apparently.
Yeah, nice. They probably just like walked in and were like, "Yo, can we film
shoot here?
Put you in the movie."
So I mean, they probably paid him a location fee, and then they're just like, "Yo, you just be in the movie."
Yeah. Well, he has to technically. If he has a line too, so like he technically could be a SAG member.
I'll tell you this right now: the fees that I've seen people pay for using a location in the time that I've worked here,
it's crazy.
For even just a few hours is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. My buddy for Origin, they used his store as in the opening for like Trayvon Martin comes in his store and buys in Arizona and a pack of Skittles. And he was like, bro, is that movie? Ooh, that paycheck was real good. Like that's literally what he said on the phone.
Yeah, legit, dude. Like, I was on a shoot for a commercial like a few months ago. 1 day shoot, and I get it. It's the whole day. Like, we shot from 6 a.m. to probably like 11, and I saw how much they paid that person for the house, and it was wild for 1 day.
I love this. I love this liquor store guy. Just goes, here you go, killer.
It's like, oh, that's where these budgets are going. But see, that's the thing. If you have a film crew around, I've also seen the effect of it. Like, you know, they don't really give a care, you know, about where they are and like, you know.
Most people are pretty cool about it. Most people want to have their like little house. Like, if it means that they get a lot of money, they don't mind using it. They actually think it's pretty cool most of the time.
No, I mean, like, they think it's cool, but I'm saying, like, the wear and tear to the location itself is definitely there. So it's like the money that they're getting is definitely warranted.
Why'd you lie to that guy? Because I knew he'd relish the fact that I'm a washout and never left my own high school, and he'd probably repeat that story to everyone.
Look at him connecting. Just drinking a bottle of Jim Beam in the street.
He would have never done that at the beginning of the movie.
No. And him saying, like, fuck that guy. Yeah, exactly. Fuck that guy.
For Paul Giamatti to just be in, you know, so many more saucy roles like this. Because, like, it's like
he's just one of those actors.
Underutilized.
Like, one of those actors just is never bad. Never bad.
But
even in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Even Amazing Spider-Man 2. He's like one of the best parts of that
but I'm saying, like, it just means he needs better work. That's what that means, right? It's him and like
these are the roles. Yeah, these are the roles you need him in, like this type of stuff. Look at him. He already thought ahead to do that. He didn't have to have someone tell him to do that, to order him breakfast. I wonder how long this break is. Probably till
like early January. Maybe right after
like
New
January,
Year's.
January 4th or 5th. Those are my vitamins. They're all battling depression. Yeah. Is that right, Toast? You mean depression? And then it cuts to him as the same model. We're not very much different there, Tully.
We're not so different after all, are we, kid?
You're going to be a star in this town, I tell you. Nice.
1970. He looks directly at the camera.
Yeah, like, I guess I'll take some.
Kids,
yeah, they're at the camera, like, I think we all need this. Like, right now. This would be a fun trip, man. Just walking around with your professor. Just telling you stuff.
This woman's feeding this fucking squirrel.
Squirrel? What is this, all that heaven allows? You need a deer to walk out? You've seen all that heaven allows, right?
Yeah.
When at the end, when Rock Hudson like goes outside and the deer comes up and he just starts feeding the deer.
Dude, deer low key,
man.
If you're in an area with deer, try to feed some. They're crazy. They'll go feral for anything.
Douglas Sirk, man. See, look, they can connect without it being a history lesson. He can show him bowling while he shows him museums. What kind of like bowling is this called? 10-pin bowling or something?
I don't know. There's like a name for it though.
I think it's like 10-pin bowling or something. I could be completely wrong.
Kind of crazy that like the 70s, you could go the day after Christmas and you'd have a busy day like that.
Oh yeah.
I will say, working at a movie theater the day after, actually even the day of Christmas,
it's pretty packed, no?
It's packed because it's the only place that's really open, and people want to be doing that.
Yeah,
they want to be doing literally anything.
Yeah, people have Christmas Day like movie tradition. They always go to the movies at night or something. Yeah, here's the the payoff later. There's an extended scene in this, like after this, because it cuts to after like he talks to these guys. It cuts. Yeah. These two girls, they start like throwing the balls like down the lane, like just throwing them, and then like security comes to like get them out. Yeah. But he's getting more confidence with the ladies.
Oh yeah, he said 10-pin.
Yeah, it's like 10-pin bowling, so like the balls are smaller. Or something. This is great.
I like the guy that plays Santa's a fucking getting fucking
absolute
shit-faced.
Like it's probably like 3:00 and he is just absolutely tanked right now.
Like, he's getting paid maybe $10 for the whole day.
Yeah.
What can you do? Trying to be one of the guys.
It's almost like it was like a joke. All right, what movie is this?
I know that what's his name? Dustin Hoffman's in this. Was it? I saw it on the marquee yesterday, and I thought like this is a good movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
It is Little Big Man.
That is what it's called. You see on the marquee outside when they go outside too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever been in a theater that had like this type of seating, like up another level.
Balcony seating.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a theater with balcony seating.
I've been to one. And it feels massive.
Mm-hmm. Just old school theaters. Really cool. Damn. Just lighting a fucking pipe.
This guy's the equivalent of like people taking pictures of the screen now.
Yeah. But I love like right here too. Like it's like it could have been like the whole time he was just fucking with him to get away from him. But then he's just like, you can come with me. Like, I just need to go see something. Because he basically just says here too, like, why didn't you just like ask me? Like, I would have taken you. You could just ask me. You don't have to like dance around like our words here. Did you think that his dad was also dead, or did you think he was lying the whole time?
There was a certain point where I think I put it together. I was like, I don't think his dad's dead.
Yeah. And they kind of play it off here like this could be a little cemetery here.
Yeah. And they cut shots too, like right here, yeah.
And then you see this and you're like, okay, yeah, he's not. What did they say? He has schizophrenia? Is that what it is?
I think they don't really say it specifically. I think the mom.
I think his mom says like he has
dementia.
like a couple of things, dementia and schizophrenia or something.
which makes sense.
Damn, imagine like
considering how
dementia
he
like
says it.
that. Dementia that like early in life. Jeez.
So the part that kind of sucks about that is that I don't know if y'all know, but schizophrenia is genetic, and it is a downer. And
But that's
same
why
thing with
that's why he's like scared that he's going to become his dad.
Yep. It's horrifying.
This whole scene's like, when he grabs his hand and he thinks he's actually gonna say something, and then he goes, "I think they're putting something in my food," and you're just like, "Oh God."
I don't wish it on anybody.
Painful.
This is cancer and dementia, mental issues. These are things where I've seen people dealing with it and having dealt with it personally, where you wouldn't wish it on anybody. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, because like he just wants to like have an actual conversation with him, and just, I think they're putting something in my food.
And the problem is that it's him, having known his father, knowing who he is, and feeling and realizing what he has sadly, become. It's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said it's horrifying. But then I love
it's the
like
whole
the
basis
next...
of the father.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hopkins, man.
I like how he has the Christmas tree framed behind Tully too. Trying some hope. There's nothing there though. But I love like the next cut. It cuts to like well, I think they're in the taxi, but then it cuts to them at the restaurant, and then he finally says what he's been wanting to say the entire movie, essentially.
Yeah.
And you see that
the restaurant is one of the best. Like this bit
zoom
of the
out.
movie is the best.
Yeah.
I love the whole exchange with the waitress about
Oh yeah. That's going on, yeah.
The best part is obviously them going outside. That's like I love the vibes of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here, you like the close up on the hands, you're like, because he goes like, listen. Like it's almost like he did like snap out of it for a second. Let's tell you something, and then he's just like, what, Dad? Like, oh my, stab you in the chest. Like, oh. Damn. It's hard to watch, man. And this is the part in the theater where I was crying.
They even it out so well, though.
Dude, the movies that I have cried in theaters, it's such like a hodgepodge of random movies.
And here you go, the close up. This slowly pulls out. But yes, this to me is also the other scene, like this moment right here. This is the entire feeling of this character.
Speaking of that, I don't think we had the movie in theaters for long last year. Like it was like a week.
I think it played for a couple weeks at the theater.
I want to say it played a few weeks here too. Yeah, I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks.
No, like I wasn't able to see it in the theaters. Like I was very angry.
It played. It was pretty full too. I remember when I went. I was like, I think it was sold out.
There's a lot of old people at my theater.
It was just me sitting at home watching this joint on the TV. Which is not a bad way, but it's, the theater would have been so much better for this one too.
Mm-hmm.
And I made my buddy, the one that my buddy that was living in Boston, I told him, I was like, forget every other movie, go see Holdovers ASAP.
Yeah, so he basically is like, He thinks his mom is just putting him in a boarding school because she doesn't have to like essentially deal possibly with that outcome down the line too. Damn.
Not everybody deserves to be a parent.
Yep. Hell, friggin' Paul here is more of a parent than his parents are. Because he would never say this to his mom. His mom would just be like, suck it up.
And that's the thing
I love
about
the actor who plays his stepdad, Tate Donovan. He's great. The guy who plays his stepdad.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. But that's the thing about these teacher student movies, these movies specifically, is that the passing of the wisdom is life lessons. It's not like, oh, we're learning about, we're learning this specific thing. No, it's like, yeah, they might learn something through the movie, but it's emotionally what they learn about. Like School of Rock is about, the freedom and expressing yourself with the art, right? With this, it's like, it's life lessons in general, right? About how to carry yourself and, women and, how you view society. And, there's depending on who's writing it, you're going to have something compelling coming out. So,
well, yeah, like right here.
Now I got to write one of these. That's what it sounds like.
He's basically saying, he's like, this feeling you're feeling, you're not the only one in the world that has that feeling. I have that feeling.
But that goes back to what I was saying, that like, it's like we all have those moments, and it's relatable. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, you feel those things, but you should also, it's hard to do it in the moment, but it's like, realize that you're not the only one there, and this too shall pass. And to say this, this too shall pass in those moments of, anybody's life, you're just like, shut up. But it's like the reminder is needed, no matter what's going on, the reminder is needed.
I love that too. Like, it was such a serious conversation, and he looks up and he goes, "Oh, Mary's here." He just stopped. Like, okay, we're good.
The energy's changed, but at least,
we're good.
I mean,
but that's how the vibe is.
We're good. Yeah, it's like
so
we're good.
real.
We got what we needed to say. Yeah.
But do y'all not have that in real life, where you're like having a serious conversation?
Yeah. Someone comes over, you're like,
walks up, and you're like, "Oh, conversation's over."
Yeah, it's like you both know, like we ended the conversation.
Exactly, and that's like,
here you go.
Those are the sorts of moments that we should write into movies. It's relatable, but it's also authentic.
Oh yeah, here's the Cherries Jubilee.
I ain't never been more tempted for the Jubilee.
Yeah, I love her line of when she walks away and she just goes, "Bitch." Just so
so real.
Dude, fucking. Everyone's done that before. Like, someone just like that, you just go, they walk away and you just go, "Fucking bitch." Like,
but it's also it's one of my pet peeves running here. Like, people who are like within a system where it's like, why are you being unnecessarily adverse? And I hate that. I hate when people do that, and I see it in all sorts of industries.
Bitch. Cherries Jubilee. Bro poured his entire Jim Beam on there.
You poured quite a bit. I mean, you can see it. He goes for it.
Or even also coming up right here because it's like New Year's is about to hit. Like 2 weeks ago, if Tully said, "We're going to light this firework off," he would have been like, "Absolutely not." And he's like, "We're going to go light this off in the kitchen." Like, no. Yeah, that Coke bottle looks fucking fire right now. I could down some of that.
Funny enough, right now that's what I'm going to be doing because we have a boil advisory for water, apparently.
Happy New Year, 1971. I wasn't born for another 21 years.
I wasn't born for another 25, 26 years.
When I was at that Coppola screening, he said that he hopes everybody watches Megalopolis every New Year's Eve.
Are you going to?
I don't know.
Is it the vibes?
He was really interesting to kind of hear, but when he started the screening, he said, when we end the movie, I want everyone to feel like when the movie is over, the clock strikes 12. And I mean, the movie ends with a new year starting. So it was just kind of sweet to hear what he had to say about the movie. The dude will just go off on tangents, though. It's hilarious.
That was a loud firework.
Oh, I mean,
fireworks used to be a lot louder back then.
There you go. But I love how that ends. It ends leaving. You're outside the window as it fades, because now they're like, their moment all together is done. It's back to school now. That
after
was
after I turned like 14 and I realized that, dogs hate fireworks, I've never bought one again because I can't do that to anybody.
I don't have a dog.
I don't have a dog either, but I don't know. It's my good. And plus, I had a neighbor for like 7 years that had 2 dogs, and I can't do that to them. You get so frightened,
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it hurts. Clear off the slopes, man. Bring it to a crisp. Think that's funny, Tully?
I'd be like, yeah. Look at your fucking face, bro. Like, I think they leave it. Like, they leave that take in when he does with his little hand. Yeah, right there. A little close to the sun there. But that's great too. It's like Icarus. He goes, huh? Like he still doesn't understand the reference. Look, he doesn't even frame Tully in that shot.
Yeah, he's excluded from everybody else.
Yeah,
he's kind of got his own little thing going.
Yeah, we're bros now. He's basically like my dad, guys. Uh-oh.
Not damn, Stanley and Mom.
Look at that flow. He's got some hair, man.
Hair envy, man. It's too real.
I love that he has her do these like long walks to get him too. Because it's like, it's just different now. It's not like because he finally uses her real name here as opposed to like Miss Crane. And she's very distant. Look at their blocking, how distant they are from each other now.
Bro, Carrie, what a woman. What a woman.
The empty like desks also kind of
is
a reminder.
It's kind of like
we're here for a job.
Yeah, and it's also she's also like clearly something bad happened here. Like they're all the vibes are just off.
I think
now.
She knows that he's fucked.
Yeah, she knows something happened. Yeah,
especially that look that she just gave him right before she.
Well, right there, yeah. Even right there, he knows he's.
She knows he's fucked.
He knows he's probably also fucked too. Yeah, she knows, but she doesn't do a thing. She goes and gets Mary though.
Yeah.
So she knows that they're fucked. Yeah. Stepfather.
The way that he corrected him too.
Yeah, stepfather.
He doesn't like him as much either.
A field trip. Yes, as per my instructions in the manual.
Shooting him by alone too.
If it was a school trip, then how do you explain this?
The people at the sanitarium confiscated it from my
He stole that from
Angus had given it to
her house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she doesn't get to marry. I done fucked up.
The thing with
Bro.
her grabbing his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the way he's like sitting too, like he's like a little kid.
She says too that like Lydia told her like she didn't tell Paul.
Yeah.
But clearly there's some solidarity between them two.
Oh yeah, she holds her hand out.
Angus knows he's not supposed to visit his father. He suffers from debilitating.
Here comes the
They
good
cut there,
lie.
too. Little moment where like you hear the audio first and then you just cut to that shot of him kind of getting like just laid into.
Clearly impossible. They tried to tell him and he
got violent. He tried to brain one of the orderlies with this goddamn thing. People know
Tate Donovan just like is just shooting daggers at Paul Giamatti the entire time. He doesn't like break eye contact.
It's interesting to think though that like the whole thing is he's supposed to be a stepfather. Same thing with the mom, but like they're saying that the kid has a discipline problem, and Paul is the only person who's like legitimately like kind of learned who he is because he's been with him for the last few days.
He's basically like, have you guys ever like tried talking to the kid? He's like, yeah, he can be a pain in the ass, but like
he's a good kid. Right, like he's not just gonna be there. He's not just gonna like hurt somebody. Like he's not out of
here comes
conduct.
Here comes the good lie. The good lie. Damn.
I didn't realize that Tate was what do you call it? He's Hercules from the animated movie.
Oh, really? Is he?
Yeah.
He does the voice? Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, the mom, I only know this is a weird cut, but I know her from like different like whatever comedy stuff, but she's like
she's in a lot of commercials.
She's in Matthew Products. Like I think she's the wife. Or no, she's not the wife. She's in Deck the Halls, if y'all remember that movie.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Danny DeVito.
But I like this right here. Like he basically just said like everything about her son. Like he's such a good. He is a good, interesting person. And her response was, "Do you understand what you've done? I have to move the father now." Like doesn't even care about her child.
Exactly, and that it's heartbreaking, but it's
and
like
he's just trying to like be like listen to him, like, and they're just like I don't care, like.
And it's like a lot of people have parents like that, don't they? Where it's like
that line that he says, "You must know that." It's a callback to
know that.
Him telling him like, "You must know everybody hates you, right? Like you must know that."
And right there when she said, "You must know that," and she just kind of like looks away, like she doesn't know that because she just probably doesn't even know her son.
No, but that's the thing. It's like it very much is what he's thinking about his mom, that she thinks that he's just a responsibility, like a burden, not her son. He's not a human being to her.
You are in fact penis cancer in human form. Jesus. It's like that'd be so satisfying to like say like I've always fucking hated you. Like, and this is the best payoff. It's this one. This is the one you should look at. Like that's how you fucking write comedy into this.
It almost doesn't feel like comedy though. It feels like such a genuine and sincere line where it's like payoff
I
the way that's
it.
like damn.
I was like the only one in the theater that laughed. I was like, that's fucking great. It's this one. Like, but yeah, it's like comedy, like you said, it's like sincere too in a way. Like he probably he's never told anyone which one to look at, but he told them.
I knew a girl who kind of had like an eye like that in high school.
There's another deleted scene there. As it cuts back to the cafeteria, and there's two professors that were talking about him earlier. Basically, are talking about him being fired too, and the chair is still empty. And I was like, I can see why they cut that. It doesn't really add anything.
Most of the time, deleted scenes when you watch them, it's
there's a reason why they're deleted.
There's a reason why they're deleted scene.
Yeah.
My favorite part about being on Twitter is people who are like, "Oh, why did they delete this scene?" And it's just like,
yeah, it's like there's a reason.
I don't know, man.
Sometimes,
every movie has to delete it.
It's like when I see those videos, I'm like, oh, let's see if there's anything interesting, and then it's mostly just like y'all didn't understand why this didn't work in the movie.
Yeah. Or it's just like a 15-second thing, and you're like, yeah. Sometimes they'll be watching it and like, this movie's running too long. We got to cut some stuff out of this. It's just running too long.
It's always something really small, usually.
Yeah. She gave him a book, but it's for him to write his own book.
It's time to write your own
Wholesome
story, lad.
vibes. Wholesome vibes, man.
All you gotta do is write one word after another. Can't be that hard, can it?
One word after the other.
What about you? What about me? What? Oh no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not like you. I like having a job. Let's just say when I'm in college. My sister's baby. What is the word from Peggy? Peggy.
Peggy.
Only that if it's a boy. His real name is.
I guess the first time we did see Paul was in his apartment. Now he's packing it up. At the end.
Bookend.
Pun intended.
I think the best bookends are the ones where you don't expect them, and this is one of those.
See, like they still create like the myth about him, booted for eating feces. I'd be like, bro, he wasn't eating shit. like, what?
Doesn't matter. Either way, it's history. Fucking history now is history. Right, Tully?
But I love how he says right, Tully, and then Tully doesn't even acknowledge like a comeback anymore. He just like, I don't even care about you, dude. Dude, if that would have scared the shit out of me. If someone was just standing there as I closed that, I'd be like, Jesus, dude.
Well, they always get jump scares in movies.
Yeah.
It's always someone behind a door.
Yeah. Here come the tears again. Nice. Told the truth mostly. These are the real Barton men, not those other fuckers.
You know, it's complicated.
Damn, the line of just like when he says, "You can do this," and he just says, "What do you say back?" Like, "So can you," or something. And they just give that firm handshake. They basically say, "I'm gonna miss you," but not actually say it.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies that kind of I like when
like
they
that. Keep your head up, right?
But that's the thing. It's like if you just say, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you," that's corny.
Yeah. Like he said, keep your head up. Like then he says, like, you can do this. I was gonna say the same thing. Like that's all you needed. And they kind of want to hug, but like not. Oh, Paul's face right there. Jesus Christ. If I was looking at that in the monitor, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, we fucking nailed that shit.
like, imagine like being at the monitor, seeing that and being like, all right, we fucking got it. Like we got what we needed.
Fucking hell. That's when you just like turn to the person next to you, like, that guy's a good fucking actor, man.
This guy should act.
The budget on this movie was 13 million.
13 mil? How much should it
Yeah. I think like 45, 48. So they made their money back. Profit on the movie.
You know what's wild is that if this movie came out in the 2000s, it would have made $200 million.
100%. And it would have been like
100%.
One of those movies that people talk about like every year is like a tradition.
Like
everyone would be like, "Yo, you haven't seen this movie? We got to go see it."
So many, it's so much money. But now these smaller, I mean, this 40 mils is pretty solid, honestly. I stole that shit. One last fuck you. Switches it around his mouth. Just spits it out.
The same song.
Same song. Yeah, I like this ending a lot better than the other one.
Like I said, it reminds me of Good Will Hunting, like the car with the credits, but it doesn't really follow him. It lets him kind of do his own thing.
End credits.
That was good. That was a
lovely movie.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.